pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got Gav. We got, is it Exponent Bart 521? Appreciate you guys for being here in the chat. Do me a huge favor, especially if you are on the YouTube side. Do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we are sitting with one or two small likes right now. I get it. It's the off season, right? A lot of people don't really like to talk about the Cardinals right now because of just, I guess, depending on how you're feeling, right? If you like the way the season ended, you're excited about 2025. If you're not happy, of course, you're still excited about 2025, but you still want to go through the emotions of, dang, what happened, right? So I understand it. Content will still be happening on this channel, just not as consistent. Just FYI, we'll still try to do a live stream a week. We'll still have videos sporadically throughout the off season. Of course, once the end of February, or actually once February comes back around, we have the combine. We got the draft happening in no, actually the combine starts in March, I believe. And then free agency in March, and then you got April draft. So we got a lot of stuff coming your way. So appreciate you guys for rocking with me. Like I said, today we're going to be diving into what I feel like, and hopefully if you guys get involved in the chat, what you guys feel like the Cardinals need to do in order for you to, in order for this team to be a playoff team in the 2025 season. Because I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans out there right now that it really feels the same way that I do. It's playoffs or bust for the Cardinals in 2025. So I'm excited. This is year 3 of the Cardinals, and we got to take that next step, man. We got to take that next step. Let me just go ahead and just do a real quick shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's going to be BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following two. That's going to be using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. Of course, bet responsibly and bet within your means. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. And I want to just say real quick, there's another bug going around right now. So I might sound a little off, a little congested. That's probably what it is. If I need to mute myself here and there, it's because there's this dang sickness going around. This is the most I've ever been sick. I haven't been sick very much, but my daughter just started preschool, so a lot of sicknesses are coming within that first year, and obviously it's hitting the parents. So I've been very, very sick through this year, so bear with me. I'm kind of still trying to fight something off, just something minimal, but just in case I need to mute myself here and there. But let's get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give some love here to the people in the chat right now that are coming in here that want to talk about Arizona Cardinals in this January, where we don't really have much news, right? Shout out Adrian, ADAZ. Is that O's Coner? What's up, man? We got Michael in the chat. We got Josh in the chat. What's up, brother? We got Volted. We got Alexis. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you for being here. Josh says, easy. 3 to 4 pieces in the front 7, a young right tackle, a speedy wide receiver, and a better backup quarterback. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, just like Josh has done, let me know what the keys to success for you for this Arizona Cardinal team to get better. Let me know here in the chat, and hopefully we'll be able to highlight what you guys have to say. But let's get started, y'all. Appreciate you guys for being here, but let's get started. All right. So I want to be very clear that one thing that I would love to see the Arizona Cardinals do, and I want to reference my guy, is it Exponent Bark here. He said, get a star pass rusher, and then he says, please. I do feel like if the Cardinals want to somehow get a star pass rusher, or even let's say, for example, just an X factor, right? A guy that's able to close when it's a one-score game, right? When they're the opposing teams on their 2-minute drill and they're trying to go up the field either for a field goal or a touchdown, you need to have that closer, right? And right now the Cardinals don't have that. So the question out there is, do you think that the Arizona Cardinals will trade for a superstar? Right now, obviously names that have been floated around for potential. Now, there's no links to the Arizona Cardinals. These are just guys that this fan base or the media would love to see on the Arizona Cardinals in 2025. Obviously, Max Crosby being one of them. And then you have Myles Garrett being another. And then you got Micah Parsons, which is another big name. But I don't know. I somehow feel like the Cowboys are going to find a way to keep Micah. Like, I'm going to be real here. I think they're going to find a way to keep Micah Parsons. So, although he's a part of my list, I'm not going to think about it too much, but there's also Trey Hendrickson as well, right? Because the Bengals are going to need to make a real big decision this coming offseason. Obviously, they need to pay Jamar Chase, and then they're going to need to make a decision on if they're going to sign T. Higgins or not, because T. Higgins is not going to be cheap. So if they don't sign him, then he hits the open market. If they do sign him, you know, potentially Trey Hendrickson, which is up there in age, he's already, I believe, in his 30s, if not late 20s. He's going to want to at least get paid, man. His production within the last 2 years has been very good. So if the Cardinals want to somehow find a pass rusher, like a guy that closes, you almost kind of need to get a superstar. You need to trade for one, right? Because we mentioned this before on our free agent video that we posted. I believe it was the last video that we posted a couple days back. Like, if you look at the free agent market right now for like the people that are going to hit the market, you got guys like Josh Sweat, Judon, a couple other people that Azeez Ojulari, which I really do like, but those aren't superstars, right? They're good pass rushers and probably better pass rushers than we have on our roster for the last 2 years. So we'll obviously take the services of a Josh Sweat if the Cardinals decide to do that, or maybe Azeez Ojulari, but they're not superstars, right? Superstars are going to be your Max Crosby, right? Superstars are going to be your Myles Garrett, right? Your Micah Parsons, your Trey Hendrickson, right? Those are going to be your superstars. So the question out there is, do you think that the Arizona Cardinals can or will trade for one? Now, we always kind of go back to that same narrative, right? It's not a Monty Ossenfort move, but this is going to be year 3 of Monty, right? And everybody's saying this is playoffs or bust, right? Or at least a lot of the fan base is looking at this organization saying, okay, we've been patient. We've been patient so long. Even the Arizona Cardinals organization had so much money in year 2, and they didn't really do anything with it, right? Like, they let it sit there. Now, they did make a move in the trade deadline, but they went after Baron Browning. Like, Baron Browning is a good rotational piece, and I don't want to take anything away from him of what he's done with the Cardinals, but he's not a closer. He's not a guy that's going to give you 1 or 2 wins on the season when you need a guy to step up, right? A real good pass rusher, especially a superstar, can help you win a game or 2. I promise you, they can. They can help you win a game or 2. So, question out there is that, are the Cardinals going to do it, right? If you're looking for a superstar, if you're looking for a closer, a guy that's an X factor, you might have to trade for one of those guys. Now, yes, the Cardinals right now, they have upwards of about 5 to 6 draft picks. Now, if you take a look at a couple different places, like Tankathon has us at 5 draft picks, but if you do like mock draft simulators, they have us at 6 draft picks, and then if you do another mock draft simulator, they have us at 7 draft picks. So I'm not 100% sure exactly where we are at. I usually follow Tankathon because they're usually pretty good on where we are at, and they're saying we have 5. So even if it's 5 or 6, I mean, the Cardinals, one thing that we do know is that Monty Ossenfort likes draft capital, right? We've seen it in the last 2 years, right? We've seen it in year 1. We traded back from that number 3 or 4 spot that we had. Unfortunately, Will Anderson Jr., which would have been a real good piece for the Cardinals, and I wanted Will Anderson Jr., but the Cardinals decided to trade up and then trade back in to get Paris Johnson Jr., which honestly, Paris Johnson Jr. is a really good pick, so I'm not really mad at it. But my first option was Will Anderson Jr., if I'm going to be honest here. And then the year 2, we traded back in round 2, right, to accumulate another 3rd round pick. So the Cardinals right now, what we know of Monty is he loves draft picks, right? He loves draft picks. So would he go after somebody when we arguably have the most cap space we have in the tenure of Monty Ossenfort? There's a lot of guys coming off the book. So will Monty go after a guy like Max? Will Monty go after a guy like Myles, right? Micah, Trey, right? We don't know. We haven't seen like this is something that he does, but I think there's a lot of Cardinal fans right now that would love to see a big swing because I don't want to say we deserve it, but we kind of do, man. We've been patient for a very long time. We've been patient for a very long time in terms of, okay, you want to build the way you want to build. All right, that's okay. You love through the draft. Okay. So year 3 is when we start seeing the big progress. Although you can't deny there is progress from year 1 to year 2, right? 4 wins to 8 wins. That's good progress. It's just a lot of people are upset and a lot of people are mad at the fact the way that we lost those last 7 games after the bye week, right? If the Cardinals were somehow, let's say, 4-4, let's say we were 4-4, right, heading into the bye week, I don't think this would hurt as much ending off where we ended off at 8 wins, but being the fact that you kind of had everything in front of you and expectations kind of changed at the bye week, a lot of people were kind of upset the way we lost. So, I mean, depending on how you look at it, but this is kind of the only way I can see the Cardinals getting a superstar X factor is to trade for one of those guys, right? Like I said before, I do love the idea of Josh Sweat or maybe an Azeez Ojulari, but right now in their point of their career, they're not superstars, right? They're good pass rushers. They're better than anybody we have on this roster, but they're not superstars, right? It's different, right? It's kind of like when we were talking about on our Sunday night stream where the whole elite to superhumans, right? Or maybe even good to elite. There's obviously a bracket between guys that are really, really good at their position and guys that, hey, they could probably finish off the season with 7-8 sacks, and that's not bad, right? That's not bad. That's actually pretty darn good. Because right now our sack leader is Zaven with, I believe, is 5.5 sacks on the season. So we need to make sure that position on the D line gets addressed. Like, that's it, man. Patience are wearing thin right now for Cardinal fans. We need to do something. Now, even if it's not a trade, right? Even if it's not a trade, let me ask you guys this, right? Free agent pickups. Who is your top free agent pickups? I mean, obviously, we got a lot of people here in the chat right now, over 40 or 30 people. Let me know in the chat. Who is your top free agent pickup right now? If there's one guy that you are or that are projected, right, to be a free agent, let me know in the chat. Okay, now to me, while I wait for your guys' responses, top free agent pickups, right? One thing that the Cardinals need to do, and March is going to get here like this. I promise. We're already mid-January. It's freaking nuts how fast things are going right now. And it might be because I have a kid, and I'm living vicariously through her, and what her milestones are. So that's probably why life's going a lot faster for me. But March is going to get here super quick. So top free agent pickups for me is you got to go after a pass rusher. You have to. Like, the days of, oh, this is just a rotational piece, that should be long gone right now. We arguably right now have about $72 million, $73 million, depending on what, either over the cap or Spock track. The Cardinals are in big need of a pass rusher. We need one, right? So right now, if you're looking at the list of potential, it's Josh Sweat. Now, can he sign back with Philadelphia Eagles? Yes, he can, right? So this whole thing might be a pipe dream, right? It very well might be. But right now, where my main focus is, the Cardinals need to go after a pass rusher. They do. Like either Josh Sweat, and Azeez Ojulari, right? Somebody that's young. Now, Josh Sweat, I believe he's 28, most likely going to be 29, hitting the 2025 season. Azeez is really young, right? If you're looking for a guy that's long-term, let's see what Azeez Ojulari can do, right? I think he finished off the season with 8 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9. Let me double check here. I know he was the main guy that I really wanted the Cardinals to trade for in this trade deadline. We didn't do it. I'm sorry, not 8 sacks, 6 sacks. I'm sorry, 6 sacks. So the way that it shook out, so he did unfortunately get hurt. He played 11 games out of the 17. What did he get hurt with? He probably got hurt shortly after the trade deadline, right? I mean, he was on track to have a really, really good season. 24 years old, 6'3", 240. This was the guy I really wanted the Cardinals to trade for. Now, they might have an opportunity when it comes around. They might have an opportunity to sign him here in free agency because he might hit the open market. So him and Josh Sweat seem to be the two guys right now that I would love the Cardinals to potentially go after. We got my guy Brandon in the chat says, I'm on Chase too. Okay, so Chase Young. Okay. That would be cheap for sure. That would be cheap. Hendrickson. So that's Trey Hendrickson, right? I think right now Trey Hendrickson, let me just double check on his contract real quick. I believe he has one more year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. He's 30. He's got one more year in his contract with the Bengals. And that's 2025. So if the Cardinals would like to get a Trey Hendrickson, they are going to need a trade for him. And I would love to bring him in as well. He's older. He's a veteran, but 18.5 sacks on the season, man. You can't deny it. He's still heavily producing for that defense. Heavily producing. So, yeah, man, I'm loving these names so far. I really am. Chase Young, that might be one of those moves that it's going to be really cheap because his career hasn't blossomed to the level that everybody thought he was going to. But right now, let's see where Chase Young ended off on the season. 5.5 sacks. 25 years old, still young. 1 forced fumble, 21 solo tackles. I'm not gonna lie to you. If he does come to the Cardinals, he might be the best pass rusher the Cardinals have, especially if we don't upgrade it. So I'm not mad at that either, but I would like a splash move. I would love to see a Josh Sweat or maybe even Azeez Ojulari. I feel like that would be kind of cool. Chase Young, to me, it might be on the bottom of my totem pole for guys that I would potentially want. He would be cheap, right? Especially considering, but I don't know. I feel like I would like to see a little bit more. Let's push the needle, right? Let's move the needle a little bit more. Michael in the chat says, why not Reddick then? You think, so I don't think he's a bum per se. I'm not sure if you're asking me or if you're asking somebody in the chat. I don't think he's a bum per se, but I'm looking for somebody that's going to be 8, 9 sacks consistently, a year, right? That's what I'm looking for. Chase Young's career, unfortunately, didn't really blossom into the level of what he was supposed to be. Now, would he be number 1 pass rusher on this defense if we don't do anything else? Yeah, he would. He absolutely would. Would he be able to eat? Yeah, he probably would, right? But to me, I would love to see a little bit more. Let's spend some money, y'all. Let's spend some money. Josh Sweat, Azeez, I feel like that would be really, really cool for the Cardinals to potentially do something like that. I don't know. That's just kind of the way I like to look at it, but we'll see. RC3, what's up, buddy? He says, if we have a major rotation in edge/D-line tackle, trade 1 or sign 2 and draft the rest. I like that. I like that. So here's the thing, too. I've heard from multiple different people that this draft class arguably is one of the best, like, defensive line draft classes that we've seen. Like, you could get a gem in the 2nd round or the 3rd round, right? So this might be one of the best defensive lines classes that we've seen come out. So can the Cardinals potentially go after an edge player in the 1st round? Yeah, I mean, for sure. Can they double down and still go D-line in the 2nd round? Maybe getting an interior? Yeah, absolutely, right? What the Rams did in this last year, they went after Verse and they went after Braden Fisk. That worked out for them. That really, really worked out for them. Would I want the Cardinals to do something like that? Like, let's say, for example, the Cardinals go after an edge rusher, right? Like, whether it's like Jalen Walker or Nick Scorton or Michael Williams, right? Right, one of those guys. James Pierce would be cool, but I just don't think he will fall to us. But like, if we get one of those top edge rushers, right, and then the 2nd round we double down, maybe that's not Mason Graham. Who's the other guy? There's another guy in Michigan that I really do like, and for some reason he's slipping my. Let's see here. There's Mason Graham, which I don't think we're gonna have a chance to get him because I think he's gonna obviously hit. I don't think he's showing up right now in that's what this is. Okay, so Mason Graham is gonna probably go within maybe top 15. Some might say top 10, but Kenneth Grant, possibility. Hey man, I wouldn't mind getting a guy like that, 6'3", 339. Now, I know we got Bilal Nichols, and I know we got Justin Jones this last offseason, but those guys are going to be more of a, veteran guys. They're not going to be future for the Cardinals, if that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Yep, here we go. Grant, appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much. I should have looked at the chat. I had to look at it myself. But yeah, Grant, I wouldn't mind. Like, I feel like that would be kind of cool if the Cardinals did like an edge rusher, right? And then they did a defensive lineman in the 2nd round. I think the Cardinals can be in a situation where they can definitely elevate their defensive line this year. Like, it could be upgraded like that for sure. Now, let's take it to the approach of, I don't want to talk about draft. We're going to actually talk about the draft a little later on, maybe in about 5 minutes or so. But let's say we live in this world, right? Let's say the Cardinals do go after somebody in free agency, right? Like, either through trade or through free agency, right? Let's say we address that role at edge. What say you, right? What say you? Do you want the Arizona Cardinals? Like, let's say, for example, we go after Azeez, or we go after Josh Sweat, right? Or maybe even Hassan. I don't think Hassan's going to happen the way that he handled things. I just don't think he's a Monty guy. But let's just say we live in a world where we get that guy, right, in free agency. What say you, chat? Do you still want the Cardinals to allocate that 1st round to an edge rusher for the future, right? Because you also got to remember BJ Ojulari, we still currently have. Now, BJ Ojulari hasn't been able to stay healthy in the last 2 years, and we drafted him 2 years ago. So can we start seeing a healthier dosage of BJ Ojulari? I mean, now it's kind of remained to be seen, right? So my question to you is, if we go after in free agency an edge rusher, right? Are you okay with either waiting to the second round to get edge or defensive line? Or are your mindset is D line, D line, D line, D line. I don't care what we do in free agency. It's D line, D line, D line, D line. What say you in the chat? Because let me pitch something to you real quick, right? Let me pitch something to you. If, for example, because like I said before, Monty loves draft picks, right? Monty loves draft picks. Let's say we're living in a world where sorry, let me make sure I have the right graphic. There it is. Yep. Okay. So Monty loves draft picks, right? Let's say the Cardinals do decide to trade back, right? Maybe the Cardinals do decide to trade back and accumulate more draft. Now, obviously, it depends on who's there at 16, right? If it's one of those edge rushers that you absolutely must want, right? It's a must-have. Obviously, you stick at 16 and you go after that guy, right? But there is a world where the Cardinals could potentially trade that back. Or, now, this might not be very popular here, but the idea of maybe going after a wide receiver, I get it. Don't chop my head off. I'm just pitching ideas, right? And this is under the scenario that the Cardinals heavily went defensive line in free agency, right? This is under that idea. Now, if the Cardinals don't go that route in free agency, then heck yeah, my mind is D-line, 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 right? In the first round, heck, maybe even the second round. But let's say in the world we're living that in free agency, we do go after those guys, right? And we get them on our team. Is anybody opposed to potentially trading back or going after maybe those two wide receivers that might be there at 16, right? And the two wide receivers that I got in my mind right now, and they're the only two, right? So if we don't get these two guys, you're okay with maybe not even getting a wide receiver to like the third or fourth round or fourth round and beyond. I can care less. But there's two guys that I really like coming out of this year's draft. We're not going to get the guy from Arizona. He's going to go top 10, right? But I'm talking about either Emeka Ibuka out of Ohio State or Luther Burton III. Now, the reason why I'm talking about them, and I want to get your guys' opinion, obviously, in the matter, is because, some might say that the Cardinals are in need of that speedy guy, right? The guy that's able to stretch the field. Because although I have confidence that Marvin Harrison Jr. can turn into that wide receiver number one, right? He's got good numbers, but we still want to see a little bit more physicality. We still want to see the 50-50 balls. We still want to see all these little traits that a fourth overall pick should probably provide to you. But is anybody opposed to potentially, if the Cardinals go defensive heavy and address a lot of the needs, and by a lot, it's probably two, but defensive line in free agency, is anybody opposed to potentially going after a wide receiver, either a Emeka Ibuka or maybe even a Luther Burton, or trading back, right? Now, although right now we're set to have about $72 million in cap space, that's gonna go down. That's gonna go down when the Cardinals hopefully decide to extend Trey McBride. Get in front of it. Extend Trey McBride now. There's no point in waiting next year. Like, you're gonna save a little bit of money because we know we've already seen what he's the best tight end we've seen in an Arizona Cardinal uniform, bar none. Nobody's even close. Nobody's even close to Trey McBride. Sign Trey McBride this offseason. Simple as that. As simple as that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Extend him. Let's not worry about it. But our $72 million right now that we're projected to have, now keep in mind that if the cap extends or gets bigger like it usually does each year, we'll have more money that way, right? But right now we're set to have $72 million, 73 around there before a move from Trey McBride, right? Before a move. So my question to you is anybody opposed to something like that? Or are you just thinking D-line, 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 D-line? Here we go. We got my guy says, I'm not opposed to Emeka Ibuka. Okay. I mean, that's all I'm asking. I'm just asking for, obviously, opinions out there, right? Because if you're looking for a guy that's going to be able to stretch the field, right? Either a slot guy or a guy that can eventually become your wide receiver number two, I really do like Emeka Ibuka. I really do like Luther Burton. Like, I like these guys. Now, if the Cardinals don't go after them, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you got to go after them because if you're not, you're trash. No, it's nothing to do with that. But I don't know. There's something to be said about obviously providing the weapons to your franchise quarterback that's going to make him better, right? To make him better. If you add somebody like a Mecca or if you add somebody like Luther Burton, that's a game changer, man. That's a game changer. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. in his year two. Michael Wilson's still coming back. Obviously, if he remains on the outside, that's cool. Get these either two guys in the slot. Then our wide receiving core would be a gem. It would be amazing. It'll be amazing. Let's see what my guy Pete says. He says, please look at what the Rams did last year. Verse and Fisk from Florida State. They lose Darnold. They lose Darnold, and their defense is still not Darnold. Donald, right? Donald. So this is what we talked about a little earlier, Pete. I'm not mad at this. Like, if the Cardinals go this route, I'm cool with it too, right? I'm cool with it. We're only talking about, like, potentially a wide receiver if the Cardinals go heavy in free agency, right? Like, I'm talking about you get your star pass rusher either through trade or you get him through free agency, and then you also get another piece, right? That we're all confident with heading into 2025. That's really the only way that we were talking about wide receiver potential. But right now, if the Cardinals don't really do very much in free agency, I think everybody's pretty much thinking in their mind, like, you got to go after D-line, right? Whether that's going to be your edge player in the first round or maybe even doubling down in the D-line in the second round and maybe getting somebody like Kenneth Grant, right, from Michigan. Because I feel like that would be a kind of good combo, right? Whatever edge rusher falls to us, because let's be honest, the best edge rusher in this draft class is Abdul Carter, right? There's no way we're getting him. There's no way we're getting Abdul. Yeah, there's no way we're getting him out of Penn State. It would be awesome, but he's definitely going to be top 5, top 6 draft pick, no doubt. But if you're looking for somebody, you know, another edge rusher, there's a lot of very intriguing edge rushers this coming class. So I'm not mad at this, right? I feel like this is 85%. This is what I want to do, right? I'm just opening it up to the possibility, right? That's it. I'm just opening up for the possibility of, hey, maybe, right? Maybe we can do something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind this, right? Get your edge rusher in the first round, second round. You maybe go after a top dog in the interior. I like Kenneth Grant personally, but we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Pete, what's up, Pete? I trust Harrison is going to be a stud in year 2. Exactly how CD progressed. Love it. Oh, Pete. Love it. Love it. You're very high on Marvin, including myself. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to take that step into becoming that wide receiver 1, which obviously he was wide receiver 1 in this offense, but there's a couple things we need him to work on, right? Physicality, 50-50 balls, contested catches. Those are the things that we need to see a little bit more from wide receiver 1, and I think he's going to get there. I really do. I have the confidence just as you do, Pete. So I'm excited about that. My guy in the chat says, nobody likes offensive tackle Campbell. I don't think it's the fact that we don't like him. I think anything's on the table, honestly. Like, we mentioned this before. Like, if the Cardinals get somebody, like, let's say, for example, right, the Cardinals want to go O-line. That's cool, too. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay, too. Like, we don't know what's the right tackle of the future. Let's be honest. We were all excited about Jonah Williams. Like, let's be honest here. Like, when we got the breaking news, we were like, yes, Monty Ossenfort, you're trying to do something here. Let's go, right? But Monty Ossenfort's picks in this year's free agency class, unfortunately, 3 of them got really hurt. Bilal, Justin Jones, Jonah Williams. And that's why I kept saying there's something in the water here in Arizona. There's something in the water. Because these guys that were supposed to be Iron Man, unfortunately, a lot of them got hurt, right? So if the Cardinals do go after a tackle, I'm cool with that too. Like, we could do anything. Like, literally, the Cardinals can do anything, right? Except for obviously going after our kicker or punter. So let me be specific here. They can't do everything or anything, but yeah, man, if they want to address trenches on either side of the ball, they want to trade back, accumulate another draft pick, they can do that as well. Now, it depends on who's there at 16, but the Cardinals can, right? Personally, I would love to see breaking news if the Cardinals somehow land themselves in a spot where they get Abdul Carter. Is that not going to happen? It's probably not, right? For sure, it's not going to happen, but like, that would be cool to see, right? Because Abdul Carter is probably the gem coming out of this year's draft class in terms of like edge rusher. is Abdul Carter out of Penn State. I know the Cardinals aren't going to be there, but sometimes you just love to dream. You love to dream. ADAZ says O-line is hit or miss in the NFL. Rather get through free agency. That's okay. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. You also have the second round or the third round, right? If you want to address like guard, because right now I think the Cardinals really like Isaiah Adams. They really like Isaiah Adams. Now, John Gaines the second, do you remember him? It's John Gaines the second. We got him a couple years back. I believe it was the first year of Monty. He really hasn't amounted to very much, unfortunately. But Isaiah Adams, I think he's going to hopefully find himself in a role this next year. Fingers crossed. And then, hey, that's a third round pick. That's going to work out for the Cardinals, right? So we'll see. We'll see. We got AZ in the chat says trade Murray and draft Dart in the second. Here's the thing. I don't think they're going to trade Murray. I really don't. Like, I think Jonathan Gannon, this organization they're hell-bent on progress. They are, right? Remember, take it back to the Cliff Kingsbury day in year 2, right? As long as you're progressing, like, they're fine. I don't think they're going to trade Murray. Now, if you do want to go after Jackson Dart, which is a guy that I absolutely love, right? Out of Ole Miss, I love Jackson Dart. I hope his value drops. But what I'm hearing is that he might be up there in terms of top 5, top 6 quarterbacks coming into the draft. Now, I believe, is it Quinn Ewers? Quinn Ewers? There you go. Quinn Ewers from Texas. I think he's declaring for the draft as well. But, man, I love the idea of Jackson Dart, right? If he does crazy in the combine, his draft stock might go up. Do I see the Cardinals going after a quarterback in round 2? I mean, you would have to kind of trade Murray, but I just don't see it happening, right? I just don't see it happening. If Jackson Dart falls to the 3rd or 4th, I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with doing something like that. It's just, I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. You might as well just do one more year. And here's the biggest reason why. Like, just do one more year with Murray. And I know that hurts people and people hate me for saying this, but look at his contract. His last guaranteed ends this in 2025. Like, there's no more guaranteed salary for Kyler after 2025. We have him to 2028 technically under contract, but his guarantees stop in 2025. So the Cardinals right now are probably looking at that and saying, hey, let's just ride it out one more time. We progressed from year 1 to year 2. Let's hope and pray that we progress from year 3. And if the Cardinals don't do that, then we'll establish and we'll figure out what happens there. But I'm always a big advocate. I've been a big advocate after we've gotten swept by the Seahawks, right? After we got swept by the Seahawks, I was one of the first guys to say, hey, we need a backup plan, right? We need to have some sort of back. Even if Kyler's our guy in 2025, we need a backup plan. So I just hope the Cardinals organization does it. If they don't, then we'll talk about it either after free agency or midseason. We'll see how that shakes out. So I just don't think they're going to trade him. I just don't. Pete in the chat says, this is the Ole Miss draft. Yeah, Jackson Dart, man. I really, really do like him. Fuddle in the chat says it would be dumb to trade Murray. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, unless you're getting an absolute crazy value back, it doesn't make sense to do it. Just, plan for the future is what I can say. Plan for the future, because you got a potential there in Jackson Dart that I really, really do like. Will the Cardinals do it? I don't know, right? There's a lot of quarterback needy teams. In this year's draft class. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. RC3, what's up, buddy? He says offense. Here we go. He says offense, Higgins, draft Scadaboo, sign Willis. So Malik Willis or Tyler Huntley at quarterback. I like that. See, and that's another thing too, right? You can have a contingency plan anywhere, right? You can have a contingency plan anywhere at backup quarterback number 2. As long as we are aware that we need to bring more than just Kyler and Tune heading into this next year, I feel confident that this front office knows what's up, right? I feel confident that this front office knows what's up. And if you don't know what I mean by that, like, I guess read between the lines. Like, you need to have some sort of contingency plan. Because although Kyler Murray was able to stay healthy this year, let's not forget that Kyler Murray, unfortunately, has been hurt throughout his tenure, right? I don't think he missed a game every single year, but he's been hurt. with the exception of this year, right? In terms of missing games. A couple things popped up here and there, but he didn't miss any games for the Cardinals, which is good. But we also got to have that contingency plan behind our mind as well. So, I love the idea, man. I like the idea of Malik Willis. I like the idea of Tyler Huntley, Snoop, right? And another guy that's popped up, and he is on the Patriots, and I think he might be under contract. Was he a rookie? I think he was a rookie. Joe Milton. Joe Milton looked pretty darn good, man. Let's see what his contract was. Yeah, he was a rookie in 2024. What was he undrafted? Yeah, he was undrafted free agent. I'm not gonna lie to you, Joe Milton, when Drake May went down in that last game, looked pretty darn good. He might be too young, too. I could agree with you there, but I don't know. He seems pretty intriguing as well. If the Cardinals want to take a flyer and getting a second, backup QB, but I think the Patriots like what they see in him. So let me go back to what my guy RC3 said: Malik Willis, Tyler Huntley. I'm cool with it. Julia says we need to pick up Jalen Walker, edge from Georgia. Oh man, I love that option. I love that option. Being at 16, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts out there now. Obviously, mock drafts are a dime a dozen. Everybody's got their own different things of where everybody's going to go, right? Jalen Walker was mocked to the Cardinals a lot when they were sitting at the 14 spot, but it almost kind of seems like that 14 to the 16 spot that we're currently in right now, it seems like he does go really quickly around that range. So if the Cardinals do like Jalen Walker, hey, man, I'm cool with that too. I feel like that would be a massive pickup for the Cardinals, man. Massive pickup. Yeah, I like that option too. I really do. Michael in the chat says Scadaboo is good, but Bucky Irving's going to be a stud. Yeah, man, Bucky Irving is a stud. But you also got to keep in mind too, it's all based off of opportunity, right? It's based off opportunity. The guy that the Panthers ended up drafting, was it Jonathan Brooks, right? He was hurt all year, man, all year. Trey Benson, which is the Cardinals' third-round pick, he was behind James Conner the whole time. Like, he really didn't get a full slate. Bucky Irving in the last, 4 or 5 games of the regular season, and now obviously in the one playoff game that we've seen them, he went off because he got an opportunity, right? Rashad White had to take a back seat. But it's all based off opportunity. Will the Cardinals give an opportunity over to Trey? It's a good question. Right now, it seems like it's the James Conner show, and it's probably going to still be the James Conner show, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Eddie, we got you. Okay. Eddie. Okay, so if you don't know why I'm excited, you're able to chat. Okay, let's go. Appreciate you, Eddie. Okay, cool. He says this, Scadaboo is a beast, and you can tell he has the right mentality to be great. Yeah, and there's something about bringing in an ASU player in, right? Scadaboo is probably going to go a lot higher than Eno Benjamin did for the Cardinals because we got him in the 7th round. And Eno Benjamin was a running back legend for ASU on his own, right? But Scadaboo, he's definitely going to be maybe somewhere around the 4th, the 5th round. What he did in that last game versus Texas and just what he's done for ASU this year, he's a beast, man. He's a beast. So I would love the idea of the Cardinals bringing in Scadaboo. It's just, if you do that, you got to recognize that Trey's development will probably be hindered, right? It'll probably be hindered. So we'll see, though. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's go with what's up, Thomas? Is it crazy Cliff is in the playoffs and everyone didn't believe in him? The stuff he's doing in Washington with Jaden Daniels is crazy. Yeah, Thomas. No, you're 110% right. That's why we have therapy sessions every time. I guess it was like 1 or 2 live streams that we had. But yeah, no, man, I'm right there with you as well. Seeing Cliff Kingsbury being in the playoffs and having the success that he is good for him. It really is. We know this fan base ran him out of town. We know that Kyler Murray and him did not have a good chemistry in the end, so something needed to end. So the Cardinals needed to make a move, right? So yeah, no, it's cool to see it for him personally, and he's most likely going to get a head coaching job, no doubt, right? He's definitely most likely going to get a head coaching job, no doubt. So good for him. But yeah, it hurts a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you, man. It hurts a little bit because it almost kind of feels like he was just waiting, right? He was waiting for that quarterback that's really going to be able to get his offense going to the level that he wanted it to. And man, Jaden Daniels is a beast, man. Jaden Daniels is a beast. That kid doesn't even look like a rookie at all. At all. So, no, I agree with you, Thomas. I agree with you. Appreciate the chat. Let's keep it going here. We got my guy Michael in the chat says, I want Robinson to become a freaking star. I do too, brother. I do too. One IQ says, I don't know, but we have 2 other capable backups. This is what I was talking about a little earlier, right? So if you do somehow get a Scattaboo, which I don't know. If they do it, obviously everybody would be happy, especially ASU fans. But I don't know. You got Trey. You got James Conner, obviously your workhorse. But then after them, there is a drop off after them, in my opinion. I do like Michael Carter. Don't get me wrong. I think he stepped up really, really well when he needed to. He's just not a number 1, right? He's not a number 1 guy. He's a solid number 2, solid number 3, right? Your pass catching running back in the backfield. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted him to make the final 53 in September, because he's just a different type of player compared to Benson and Connor, right? So it's one of those things that you don't really think about too much because he's a third string running back, but I feel like he would have made a difference in this offense. Do you guys expect old Connor to stay healthy? I mean, keep in mind too, man. Yeah, I mean, we extended Connor. I mean, he deserves it. What he did with his offense is nuts. But the last 2 games that we saw without Connor, I'm curious to figure out how that's going to translate. You can't watch the Rams, you can't watch the 49ers game without asking yourself that question, right? Like, this offense looked more functional, right? More functional without James Conner. Now, Drew Petzing, find a way to make that happen. Find a way to make sure that what we saw in the last 2 games with Kyler throwing the ball deep and not just dinking and dunking, and keep that run game going, we could be pretty darn dangerous, right? It just was weird. It was weird that without James Conner there, our offense looked good, right? In terms of moving the ball down the field. I know in the Rams game, we only scored 9 points. I get that, right? We only scored 9 points in the Rams game. I'm fully aware. But what I'm saying is the offense looked better in terms of throwing the ball. Kyler wasn't scared. Kyler wasn't dinking and dunking the whole freaking game. There were chunk plays made. So, I don't know, man. I'm curious. That's one thing that I'm really going to look forward to heading into the 2025 season for our Arizona Cardinals, is how we're going to be able to integrate James Conner being that workhorse, but also having a run attack. Pass attack. I'm sorry. Not run, pass attack is what I meant. Fuddy. What's up, Fuddy? He literally just had a career year. Yeah, but I think he was talking about, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Let me know if I'm right or wrong, Eddie. But I think he was talking about more like injuries has always plagued James Conner's career, right? He has had one of his best career years for sure. No, you're right there. But I think he's talking about more like, are we really going to put all our eggs in a basket for him to stay healthy, right? I think that's where he was coming from. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, Eddie. But no, yeah, James Conner is a beast when he's on the field for sure. Let's get a couple more chats. Appreciate you guys for being here, by the way. Right now, we're talking about what the Cardinals can do from becoming the 8-win team that we ended up the season off with, and then becoming a potential playoff team. So if you guys have any plans, let me know here in the chat what you guys think the Cardinals should do. We've already kind of sprinkled in, should the Cardinals trade for a big blockbuster guy a little earlier. We also talked about who's the top free agent pickups that you want the Arizona Cardinals to go after. And then obviously we're ending off the stream with what the Cardinals could potentially do with the 16th overall pick, either trade back, D-line, right? Edge, double down, do what the Rams did, edge and then D-line. Rams and then interior with Verse and Fisk. So we kind of covered a lot of different topics here. Do me a huge favor if you're just getting in here, smack the like button. Right now we got over 50 people here on the YouTube side. Smack up the like button, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. It's the off season. Nobody really likes to talk about the Cardinals right now. It's all sun season, and we're going to be getting ready here for the Diamondbacks within the next like 2 months or so. With spring training coming up and then the regular season starting up, so I'm really excited about that as well. But it's a dead season. I get it, but just let me know what your guys' where your guys' minds are. RC3, what's up, buddy? Mike, we may get a free agent linebacker. I would take the guy from the Chiefs if White doesn't come back. You're talking about Nick Bolton? Yeah, man, that's a good option, brother. That's a good option. Yeah, Nick Bolton definitely looks pretty darn good. If Kazir White doesn't come back, yeah, there's another hole right there for the Cardinals to potentially fill as well. Now, do the Cardinals move Zaven Collins back to the inside? Now, here's the thing: like Zaven Collins, even when he was on the inside, he wasn't great either. I don't think he was like dog water, but I also don't think he was great, right? He might have been good or okay, but like I don't think Zaven Collins was. I don't know. He was okay. He was okay in the middle. So like it doesn't really give me the warm and fuzzies if the Cardinals decide to do that and say, "Oh, we got our guy in the middle." I mean, I guess we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. But yeah, if they lose Kazir, they got to bring in somebody to help us out for sure in the middle. Lorenzo in the chat says free agency in the draft. Top needs are right tackle, interior defensive line, edge, and the rest are backups. Okay. So right tackle, agree. I agree. Interior defensive line, I agree. And then edge, I agree. Yeah. Big needs. Right tackle has become a big need because obviously Jonah Williams has not really lived up to the contract, unfortunately. Kelvin Beachum has done good when he stepped in for the Cardinals, but he's not the future, right? He's not the future for the Cardinals. He's more of a Band-Aid guy. If the Cardinals do want to bring him back, more of a Band-Aid guy more than anything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's do a couple more chats, and then we're going to go and close up shop. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. By the way, I want to give just another real quick shout out to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Obviously, powered by BetUS, and they've been our sponsor since the whole 2024 season. So check them out if you want to go ahead and put any bets on these wild card games. Right now, we got a lot of good games coming our way this week, and I'm really actually very excited about these games. Let me know who you guys got. Because right now, if you do sign up with them, by using like promo code YouTube150 upon signing up, they will get you a 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit. But the next games that we got coming our way this Saturday, these playoff slate games, I'm super excited. Let me know who you guys got. We got Texans and Chiefs. We got the Commanders. Commanders and Lions, Rams and the Eagles, and then the Bills and the Ravens. And that right there, man, that game is that's the heavyweight game right there. The Ravens and the Bills is the heavyweight game of the freaking weekend. That's a heavyweight game. So just give me the 4 teams you think are going to win in the chat. I'll read a couple of them off, and then we'll close up shop right there. But who I think is going to win these games, the first one, Texans versus Chiefs. Let's do this here real quick. Let me share my screen so we can kind of look at the same screen together. There you go. Okay, perfect. Here we go. So Texans versus Chiefs. Obviously, I want the Texans to win, right? Obviously, right? But I think the Chiefs are going to win. Like if I were going to put money on this, like on a bet, I would say the Chiefs win. I want the Texans to win, but I think the Chiefs are going to win, unfortunately. Commanders and the Lions. I think this is going to be a much closer game than most people anticipate, but I think the Lions are going to pull through. They're that darn good. I feel like they're the best team in the NFC. And then Rams versus Eagles. Eagles, I want the Eagles to win there. I think the Rams are a good team too, but I just want I don't want to see I don't want to see an NFC West team hit the NFC West Conference. I don't. So Eagles got to bail me out there. And then the Ravens versus the Bills. I got the Bills. I got the Bills in that game. What say you though? What say you guys? Let me know what you guys are at. We got my guy Fuddy here in the chat saying Chiefs, Eagles. That's exactly what I thought too. That's exactly what I got as well. Chiefs, Eagles, Lions, and Bills. I want the Texans to beat the Chiefs. I just don't think it's going to happen. I need the Eagles to win over the Rams. Don't want to see them in the NFC conference. And then the Lions, I think they're going to beat the Commanders. And then, of course, I do think the Bills are going to beat the Ravens as well. I just think Josh Allen right now is playing on a completely different freaking layer or whatever you want. completely different ozone. I guess you want to call it that way. So here we go. We got another prediction coming our way. We got my guy said Texans. Okay. All right. Texans, Lions, Ravens, Eagles. Okay. So you got the Texans beating the Chiefs, and then you got the Ravens beating the Bills. All right. Well, here's the thing. If the Ravens go in and the Texans win, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with your prediction. I really am. I just don't want to see I don't want to see the Ravens and the Chiefs. I don't want to see that. I feel like Lamar crumbles when he plays Mahomes. So if we see Ravens versus Texans, I'm cool with it. And Lions and Eagles, let's go Lions. That's all I got to say. All right. We got one more here, and then we'll close up shop. Ravens, Texans, Eagles, and Lions. All right. Mixing it up here. Love it, love it, love it. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Of course, if the Commanders win, we will be going live after that game and crying together, probably most likely. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to every single one of you guys. Do me a huge favor. Smack up the like button on your way out. If this is your first time here, subscribe. We're on the road to 17K. Can't do it without you guys. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on here and just, chopping it up here on a Thursday morning. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.